Hi, I'm an Australian guy living here in beautiful Belarus, and about a year and a half ago I reckon I made this video, and it was called something like 5 things all Belarusian girls do, and just covered on some basic things just so you can kind of get up to speed a little bit with some things that you may not expect. Now, I just got 2 comments in the last couple of hours about this video, related to this video, and I thought I'd share them and then just kind of go over them because there's a lot of lessons to be learned inside of them. First one is something along the lines of how do you meet an Orthodox Belarusian girl, and is there a website or an app? So first of all, I can tell that this guy has no experience in East Slavic countries, no experience in Belarus, and has no knowledge of this at all, right? So this is a bit of a worry when I see this kind of a question, but it's good because you can start to get a realistic perspective and move away from that, I don't know, this Western male fantasy about this part of the world. So first of all, let's deal with the end bit first, the apps and the websites. So about 5 years ago, I saw data that said for every 1 woman online, there's about 3.8 men. Yeah, 3.8 to 1. That's why as an average man, or below average, you're invisible essentially, or you're gonna get just the absolute dregs of society, right? I mean, Tinder is the dregs of society most of the time anyway, right? And then you throw in what you're gonna get if you're just an average guy, essentially nothing, right? So keep that in mind, right? If you're gonna rely on online to meet a girl, you're essentially saying, I have no value, I have no social connections, I have no way that a girl could be interested in me based on how I live, right? So I would fix that first. Like if you want a girl who goes to church, go to the friggin' church, honestly. It's just so obvious, but I don't know, guys are lazy, entitled. I don't know what it is, why guys insist on online. I guess it's easy, low effort, non-confrontational. But guess what? The world's a tough place, right? You go the easy path, you'll get what's easy. And that is like transactional girls in Belarus, probably. Or single mums lying about their age, right? That's what you're going to be looking at. So just don't do online dating. It's just as simple as that, right? Get out of your comfort zone. You have to. For this one time in your life, get out of your comfort zone. First bit, and this is more important because there's this misconception out there that East Slavic countries are traditional. Yeah, traditional. And the girls there are, like Western girls but 30 years ago, right? And it's total bullshit. The whole psychological makeup is entirely different. So this guy's asked about Orthodoxy in particular. Look, Orthodoxy, there's not a lot of it in Belarus, and the churches there that will have people that go to them aren't going to have many young people at all. And if the girls are remotely desirable, they're going to be snapped up pre-18. That's just how it is, right? Especially in that kind of environment, right, where there's encouragement to do that, other young men wanting to settle down as well, right? So, now, more generally, you need to know the history of these countries, and this is what really worries me, like, to understand, especially the 3, Russia, Belarus, and Ukraine, the 3 that were gobbled up by the radical left ideology first. To understand these countries, you've got to understand the history of Bolshevikism, going into Stalinism, and then beyond, right? So you need to understand how religion was removed, yeah? Leftist ideology, in this case, communist feminism. That's what the USSR was, communist, feminist. Those 2 things go together absolutely all the time. They're married, right? You can't have one without the other, right? So they are literally the Antichrist. Yeah. So pretending that there's somehow a religious foundation here is just a fantasy. Yeah, it's just a fantasy. Now, there could be a few reasons why you're confused about this. One could be that the Orthodox Church has some political power inside of Russia. They didn't say Belarusian. Belarus, I said Russia. Right? They have some influence, political influence, but very little serious following. Yeah, very little serious following. And because their culture was rewritten here, culture was rewritten in accordance with feminist and communist ideology, even if a girl goes to church and believes in God, she ain't following the Bible, mate. She ain't following the Bible. And religion is only one part of the picture anywhere, right? Like, even look at a religion like Islam, we're told to believe it's really extreme, but actually, if you compare, say, Egyptians to, say, Indonesians, they're entirely different, right? So the underlying culture and other things aside from religion are also very important in terms of culture. Religion doesn't rewrite the culture that much. It's important, but it's not the only factor, right? So girls that will go to church here, and you won't find many young girls in Orthodox churches, you just don't. It just doesn't work that way. And again, if they are, they're already taken. They're gone off the market at a very young age. You get a little bit of Catholicism, closer to Poland, the part of Belarus that was more in the Polish Lithuanian Empire, or Commonwealth, should I say? Which, by the way, is not taught that way in Belarus. They don't know what that's called. You tell a Belarusian they're a part of the Lithuanian Polish Empire, they'll be like, what? It's not called that. We were blah 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 blah. Interesting side point. So, in terms of religion, you get a bit of Catholicism, but again, right? There's two parts of religion. One is the belief in God, belief in God, following of God, trusting in God, following God, blah 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 blah. The second thing is actually following his words as a part of your life and personality and life choices. So the girls that you'll get here, at least that I've met, the ones that I've met, which is quite a few, but I've met everyone. Typically, they'll say, oh yes, I'm religious. So what does that mean? It means they probably really believe in God, right? And that fits with the superstitious vibe of this part of the world, the superstitious vibe. But in reality, next question, do you follow the Bible? They're like, что это? I don't even know. We don't have a first clue what's in it. They don't care. They just go to church for a bit of an emotional spike. Oh, my emotions, right? That's how Belarusian girls are. That's one of their prime objectives, is to get that emotional spike. And church with a bit of a sing-along and a feel-good story gives that to them. So, and again, if you happen to get somehow a girl that actually does follow the Bible on some level, she will be taken at a very, very young age. Right? You're not going to get some hot 25-year-old deeply religious girl just waiting for you to show up, right? Fucking kidding me, aren't you? Like, get real, mate. Like, get real, honestly. It's just stupid. So, I mean, you can try to nestle into church communities, and you might meet someone, from my experience, having met many girls who claim to be religious, they're not actually religious in terms of their values or anything like that, right? But you're more likely to find it in villages, because during the Soviet time, religion was treated differently based on where you were and the exact generation and who was in power and what was happening. But typically, again, this movement is the Antichrist, right? So religion was generally either shut down or just kind of limited or whatever. Much like it is now in communist China, same thing. It's technically allowed, but not really. But it did survive, and this is what I've seen a lot of the times, is it did survive a bit in the villages, in individual households, because you can't police everywhere. And if in the villages they were maybe spending more time with their kids and less in the state schools, and they were able to maybe practice some religion in the house, quietly, anonymously, without Big Brother watching, then maybe there's some more influence there. And it might have influenced maybe just their morality or something like that. But definitely, if you want like a wife, like that's your goal, a wife that will raise children, religion won't influence that. These girls are deeply feminist and trained to think that work is the ultimate objective. Work and consumption. These are above having a child for most Belarusian girls, especially ones that you're going to meet as a foreigner, right? So there's some thoughts. That's the first question. Second one is juicy because the dude deleted his question. I gave a bit of a response and he deleted it. Right, he was a bit butthurt there, but I gave him a little bit of reality. I was still nice about it, but I gave him a bit of a dose of reality. So he basically said that, I'll put it on the screen now. I can't really remember exactly what it was. Basically saying that this guy got scammed from a girl in a marriage agency in Belarus. All right, that was the gist of it. And then the last phrase that you can't see, because when I took the screenshot, I just had read more. I didn't click read more to show the full thing. But at the end he said, don't trust any Belarusian girls. The whole country's a scam. Right, is what he said. And then I responded a bit, and then when he saw I responded, he deleted his comment. This is quite common when people leave a loose comment and you actually respond, they kind of shit themselves and just delete it. Even if you heart, if someone's trolling you and you just leave a heart there, they'll often just delete their comment. So anyway, so this guy, so this guy's gone to a marriage agency. He's got scammed by a girl. Okay, let's rewind a little bit. Think about the girl's perspective, right? If you're this narcissistic Western guy, he thinks he can go to a marriage agency and get the ideal wife from another society when he himself is far from ideal. He's living in a fantasy world, right? what girls go to a marriage agency? Severely hypergamous single mums and severely transactional girls. Yeah, that's it, dude. They're your two options. A normal girl is not going to a marriage agency. It's 2024. She can go on online dating and she can have more dates lined up within an hour than you'll ever have in your life, right? These girls have an abundance of choice. Yeah, abundance of choice. And even though their actual real choices aren't that high, because the guys are going to find online aren't that high quality, even if they look okay, there's a reason why they can't get their own worth, right? So it's a bit of an illusion for a lot of girls, but nonetheless, their perception is that they have a lot of choices. So only very specific genres of girls or avatars of girls are going to go to a marriage agency, especially seeking out foreigners, right? Like, it's just the most fucking obvious thing. You're literally picking the worst 1% of girls in a country. Yeah, it's just fucking lazy. Yeah, you're just being lazy, entitled, and look, it's happened once. That's bad, and I do feel sorry for the guy as well, right? If it is some innocent kind of Western guy, you don't know how things work in these kind of countries, right? But you know, to complain about it and then to go and do it again and again and again, which a lot of guys do, is just dumb, right? You got to take some accountability at some stage for your own behaviour and your own mistakes in life, right? Especially in this kind of situation. So if you're too lazy to actually engage with the culture, understand the mentality, yeah, what are you getting, man? This place is not Australia or America 30 years ago. It's entirely different. In a lot of ways, it's ahead of us in terms of feminism, right? So they missed some parts. They missed the be a slut and be fat. They missed that part. But all the other stuff of feminism, the earlier waves, is more deeply internalized here than it is in a place like the US or Australia, yeah? Super important that you get that. Super important. Because they were rewired from the factory, yeah? Whereas in the West, the feminist movement met some resistance, yeah? So it didn't entirely change us. Whereas in the Soviet Union, it did. It rewired the girls from scratch, made them working consumers, yeah? Working consumers. Although there was an element of roles and transactions rewired back into them, but not any actual desire for the other gender and anything important about marriage. It was just, that's your role. And that's why so many girls are transactional in Belarus. Yeah, not all are, but a lot are, because that's how they're taught. That was the Stalinist model, yeah? It's about transaction. There's no love or any of this other cultural stuff that helps to cement the family unit and blah, blah, blah. There's none of that. It's just mainly, I don't want to oversimplify, but mainly role-based. So yeah, if you're well, first of all, this guy made this big sweeping statement that all women are horrible in Belarus, just based off one experience. I mean, that's just obviously dumb. Of course, he's upset, he's emotional, blah, blah, blah. So, whatever, but at the end of the day, you've got a country like Belarus where the girls are pretty much in control here. It's fairly matriarchal. The guys, just from what I see over and over and over again, like over and over and over again, guys have to simp, guys have to orbit, then the girl feels like she's ready, then maybe. If she's, I don't know, whatever. Right? That's kind of how it works here for a lot of people. Not everyone, but it's something that we don't see in the West. Maybe a little bit now, it's changing a bit now, but yeah, I've just seen so many couples get together this way, right? The guy orbits and simps, and that's kind of how it works. So you've got a country that's pretty matriarchal. Girls have a lot of options. They're high quality girls in terms of appearance. And you expect just to kind of show up and get a great one as a wife. You see what I'm talking about? Like, it's just not realistic, you know? You got to understand the mentality of the girls. You got to understand what's important here. You got to understand the mentality of the men and the culture more broadly. Otherwise, you don't even know what you're getting. You don't know what you're getting, mate. Like, this is why I see so many marriages between foreigners and locals break down. Yeah, once there's the pressure of a child there, it just breaks down. Yeah, not all of them. Some survive, but a lot of them are just a mess. The things I hear, the stories I've heard since I've been here, just the cold-blooded, the way the girls just turn on the guy like that, just cold blood, done. You know. So anyway, yeah, this idea of marriage agency and blah blah blah, you're just going to get hypergamous single mums, transactional girls, That's all you're going to get, right? You're not going to get a higher quality girl because she's already inundated in the real world. She doesn't need to go to this alternate reality of a marriage agency. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. There's just some thoughts, just a bit of dose of reality. Look, I know I'm not popular when I get real like this. I know you all want to hear like, oh, it's the good old days in Belarus and all the girls are lovely and they're all sweet and they're all this and that and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is it's not like the US. It's not like Australia. It's not like it ever was. Yeah, these guys have been reprogrammed. Yeah, reprogrammed. And these girls are now, I would say the culture, my judgment, just loosely, I would say would be about 80% Soviet. Yeah, that's the culture, is 80% Soviet. 20% what was before that. Yeah. So that gives you a pretty good idea. You want to understand communism and feminism and consumerism. You want to understand these things to try to start to understand the girls' mentality here. All right, hope you enjoyed it. Take it easy. If you want to know more, if you want me to help you do this, if you want to have a consultation with me, you probably should, because I can fast track this for you very quickly, save you a lot of time, give you in-depth analysis and help and insights that you just can't get anywhere else. There's no other channel like mine on YouTube. There's no one out there willing to share their knowledge at this level of knowledge other than me. That's how it is. So marriedinminsk.com. Hit me up, book a consultation, and we can chat a bit more. All right, guys, take it easy.